Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we'll be going through a pile of vintage King Penguin hardback books. Now these are absolutely beautiful. They're about the size of a Ladybird book and I think they're just exquisite. However, we do have a bit of a job ahead of us because these books aren't in particularly the greatest shape. So we're going to try and save what we can. So without further ado, sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay, so this is the first one, which is a book of English clocks, and 1947. And if you've never seen the King Penguin books before, they really are beautiful, exquisite books, and I absolutely love them. But it's a difficult set to get together. There's 77, I think there are, off the top of my head. And trying to find them in first print, because some of them were reprinted, and trying to find them in nice condition is not easy. This one's not bad, except it's got some wear on the spine, which I'm hoping we should be able to glue that back in with a bit of luck. Now, I have been volunteering at work today. My work they allow us a bit of time off each year to do volunteer work, which is great. But my volunteering is a little bit shorter than a regular day at work. So consequently, I've come home from volunteering, and even though I'm quite tired because it involved a lot of painting this time round, it does vary. Painting at a skate park, if you can believe it. It's been quite a long day, but I do find these sort of, when I go and clean books, it is actually quite relaxing. So I could have just come home and shoved on the TV, but I'd rather do something like this because it's a bit more fun than just watching TV. And I've had this pile of King Penguin books on my desk here for a couple of weeks now, and I've been meaning to get them done because once I've been through these, I can compare the copies against my own copies because I've got them in the house. I've got all my King Penguins in a row, and then I can potentially I'll have some spare to dispose to other collectors. Now, as I film this, the weekend just gone was the weekend of the Penguin Collectors Show, which you've probably heard me banging on about quite a bit. And it was a fantastic success. The video is up on the channel, so hopefully you've seen that one by now. And my next show is the Zardoz Book Fair. That's at All You Need Is Books at £1 retail store. That's my next show, and that's I think it's either the 5th or the 6th of October. It's the first Sunday in October, basically. So, and that's in the Wiltshire area. So if you are anywhere near there, it is, as some people have pointed out, it doesn't take that long on the train from central London. Only about an hour and a half, and you can be there. To the Westbury is the local railway station, and from Westbury station it's very, very close. If you are coming down, Morris, I think potentially can pick you up from the station, because it's a bit of a walk. It's not too far, but it is a bit of a walk, so save you getting a taxi. He's got quite a large camper van, so he might be able to give you a lift. And I shall definitely be taking along my my spare stuff up until whatever I've got done up to that point with me from the recent collections. But this one really, it was just the spine that needed gluing. Hopefully I've got most of that in shot. I realised I was a little bit skew-whiff there. There we are. So I've just rearranged the camera, so hopefully you'll be able to get a better view. And I think we've not done too bad a job on that one, saving the spine, because it was just starting to come away a little bit, which is one of the things that does happen with these King Penguin books. Anyway, it's not too expensive, that particular one. Like, it's not mega money or anything. These aren't in order. I haven't bothered to put them in order. I thought, well, we'll just do them as we come across them. So this is King Penguin number 5, Caricatures, and it's the softback one. So it's like what they call flexible covers rather than the traditional hardback. A few little marks inside. So that's got £3.50. I mean, that to me seems expensive, but you know, it is what it is. Now, tomorrow I am very much looking forward to going up to Dorset Bob's, and I've not been to Bob's since the London Paperback Show, which was in May, so quite a long time. I've just been so busy with other things. But Bob has said that he's got a little run of Pan books, vintage Pan books, so that's really good. Bob collects Pan books himself, but he's very, very strict in so much as he only wants the best of the best, the mintest of the mintest. So anything that's substandard, he puts to one side, and Bob's substandard is usually my absolutely fine. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We've done so much Penguin stuff recently that it'll be lovely to have a bit of Pan to play with, but that's not too bad. That's actually survived okay, and I just wonder how we're going to get on with some of these. Now this one is looking very, very tired. Look at this. So I suspect that this may be one that's a bit too far gone, and what I'm thinking of doing, yeah, he's a bit worn, that one. What I'm thinking of doing is just popping up a little job lot upon somewhere like eBay with these tired old books. I'm not going to spend time trying to repair them because that's irreparable. So that's just going to go to one side. In fact, that's just fallen off. They're just going to go to one side as ones which I'll probably, if there's enough of them, I'll put them into a little job lot, I think, you know. Right, a book of ships. Now this is King Penguin number 3, and this one's also in like the, is that the softback or the, yeah, I'm sure this is the softback. They're like flexible covers as opposed to proper hardback, and I think on the early ones they did that possibly because of the wartime restrictions, maybe. Yeah, 1941. It's got a little shilling in the top left corner, which I suspect was the original one, the original price. King Penguins are a funny thing to collect. I mean, the good news is there's not that many, which, you know, is very attractive to people, but at the same time, trying to find them in really nice condition is tough. And if you're strict like I am, if they were issued with dust wrapper, you only want them in a dust wrapper. And I think everyone from, well, at least number 50 upwards came in a wrapper. I'm pretty sure of that, but I can't remember the official number off the top of my head. This is a particularly nice one, British Beatles. (1948), this one. Got a little 3 and 6 sticker inside. I mean, that is gorgeous, isn't it? That's a very, very nice example of that one. Maybe better than the one I've got, I don't know. But very, very nice all the same. Flowers of Marsh and Stream. This is King Penguin 27. £2 inside. It's funny, you don't tend to come across King Penguins in the wild very often. And if you do, it's usually a shelf with them in a bookshop, and they're pretty beaten up, you know. But that's just the way it goes with these things. This one's got some spotting on, as you can see, so it's not perfect. Yeah, it's coming away there, so there's definitely some faults with this one. But overall, I mean, it's okay. You know, it's not falling to bits. The covers look fine, but it is inside. It's suffering a little bit. That particular one. And there's almost like its companion, Flowers of the Woods. Now this one has got a little bit of spine wear. Look at this. Steal not this book for fear of shame, for in it lies the owner's name. Ex-library. Can't quite pick out the name, but it's written in sort of a ink pen, so we won't be able to play around with that at all and rub it out. We'll leave that in. And we can't take the book plate out anyway, so we might as well just leave that as is. (1946). So what can we do here then? So it's a bit hard to see, but we can get some glue down there, certainly, and hopefully glue that back in. It's gone off the edge. Let's wipe that up. There we are. Actually, I think that's gone in okay, so I'm going to do the top edge now. Now that may be sufficient. So I'm pinching it a little bit. Top edge coming in. There we are. I don't think we've done too bad a job there. Obviously this is going to need to sort of set for a little bit and sort of sort itself out, but I don't think we've done too bad to get that looking a bit tidier than it did. Let's put it that way. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Right, now another copy of English Clocks. This one has got a better spine on it, but it does look a little bit grubbier. Like a lot of the books from the Barn Find collection, some of them suffer from what you could only say is like storage sort of wear. This one's quite bad on the edges actually, so I'm just brushing it now, just so we can get into it a little bit easier. So yeah, so definitely a bit foxed, but other than that he's okay. It's almost like it doesn't quite sit flat, you know. But generally speaking, that one's all right. So I'd say that's a pretty nice copy of that one. Certainly better than the first one that we did. Right. So this is number 61. So this is the latest one we've seen. I think, generally speaking, they get harder to find the later you go on. This one is in its original dust wrapper, which is really nice. The first one of these we found in a wrapper. My all-time favourite King Penguin isn't here. Look how beautiful that is under the wrapper. My all-time favourite King Penguin isn't included in this collection. That one's called Life in an English Village, and it's illustrated by Edward Baldwin, which is my all-time favourite one. That's beautiful. Yeah, 1951. So I'd say, apart from the name inside, that's the only thing you could possibly find fault with on this one. Now, because it's in a wrapper, I'm going to give it the brush before I put the wrapper back on. And in fact, yeah, we could have sort of brushed these as we've been going along, because it's pouring with rain today. I'm not going to be doing any brushing outside today. Plus, these don't really warrant the same sort of brushing that the other ones did. So what I'm going to do, I am actually just going to go back and take a handful of these, and we'll just brush these three as we go along. And obviously there's no polishing to do today, because none of these have got laminated sleeves, or covers I should say. There we are. There we are. I've just seen on this first book of clogs here, once again, it's just slightly skew width. That's all it is. Yeah, that's really nice, that one. I do like some of these, they're just tip top, you know. Right, garden birds. This is number 19, King Penguin 19. I have got a couple of King Penguins in my collection that are actually signed, you know, by the authors, which is pretty cool. One on ballooning, I seem to recall, is one of them, which I'm not sure if that one's here today. And now this one, look, this is a reprint. That's the first one we've seen, which is actually a reprint. I probably will keep that as a reprint when I go through these. I need to pop these to one side, as not being brushed yet. Because there are some variants with the King Penguins, and some of them get updated and things like that. Now this is a book of scripts, number 48, also in a dust wrapper. Now it's not the greatest condition dust wrapper. This one also got published as a pelican, you know, but underneath it holds up quite nicely. But yeah, this has got an accompanying edition as a pelican. So it did get reprinted after the King Penguins went by the by. There we are. Very, very lovely indeed. Look at this, look. And that's a revised edition from 1952. So not the first, not the second, it's the third. So there you go. There we are, that's that one cleaned as good as we can get it. Right, English Ballet, number 20. Lovely illustrations again. Yep, it's the first print. Once again, he's got wear. So you see the spines coming away there, and also along the top. Yeah, pretty much along there it's sort of split. So it's quite damaged. But let's see if we can do some repair work on it. We're not going to be miracle workers here, I'm afraid. It's too far gone for that. But we may be able to do something to make it look a little bit better. Okay. I've been pretty generous in there. In the hope that it does stick sufficiently. I think we've probably not done too bad there. We have not done too bad. It ain't perfect, but it's okay. I think that one lives to survive another day, you know, don't you? Once that's dried out, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous book. So we'll leave that over there to dry out a bit before we rub it down. Right, English Tradition in Design, John Loeb. This is number 34, and on the face of it, looks pretty good. Initially. Pretty nice. And that's a first, so I'd say that's a pretty nice example of that one, I can say. So that's pretty nice. What's this? Elizabethan miniatures. Now this one has got a replacement spine. Look at that. It's been well done, but it has got a replacement spine, which is quite a big defect. It's a reasonably tough one to find in first print, as I recall, this particular one. A popular subject. The miniatures in question are these little things. Very, very collectible, very expensive, you know. But yeah, this one's a little bit the worse for wear, because I guess it was sort of falling to bits in effect, and they've rebound it. So because it's rebound, I am going to put it to one side, because that's quite a major fault for that particular book. So Poisonous Fungi, number 23. It's a little £1.75 inside. Oh, got a few bits and pieces here on fungi by the looks of it. There we are, that's absolutely fine. Now, what can we do with this spine? So, it does look as if we could get some glue in there. So, a little bit of tactical gluing is required here. As tactical as it gets with a King Penguin book. But the spine's sort of come off and gone a bit sort of brittle, unfortunately. I think we've saved it. Not perfect, but very good. It's as good as we can get it, I think. Now, what were the bits and pieces inside? Fungi. Someone's made some notes there, potentially on fungi, but nothing to do with the book. This clipping here. Fungi as food. Okay. And then this one here, once again, toadstools on fungi, but nothing to actually do with the book. If it was like a contemporary review, I quite possibly would have kept it. Right, Fishes of Britain's Rivers and Lakes, number 11, King Penguin 11. £1.25 inside. £19.43, this one. First print, I'd say that's very nice indeed. We'll just obviously give it a bit of a rub in a minute. And we'll do one more before I take a short break. English book illustration, 1800 to 1900. This is number 31. Now this is slightly mottled, so this one may be on the borderline of being salvageable. A bit of a stain there, so let's see. Can it be saved? Yeah, it's got some staining in there. I think it can be saved because it feels fairly robust. But it's going to have to be pretty cheap, this one, I think, to make the cut, as it were, because it's missing the top of the spine. It's almost like it's got some sort of mildewing on it, in effect, but it's coming off with a bit of handling there. Look at this on the spine here. So, no, should we put the rubber on it, see what happens? Nothing. It's it just is what it is. Now, I think what we'll do, this little pile here, then we'll give these 6 books the brush, and then we're not actually even halfway yet. We're about a third of the way. But that's good, because these are beautiful books and I don't particularly want to rush them. I just want to savour their loveliness, because it's not every day you get a run of King Penguins come through your hands. You know what I mean? They just don't turn up that often anymore. And I do absolutely love them. So yes, we shall savour this cleaning episode, because it's just a delight dealing with such gorgeous books. Lovely. Right, I'm going to take a short break and have some of my coffee, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to crack on. My phone battery, where I do my recording, is reasonably low at the moment, so I might struggle to finish this particular run today, but if I don't finish it today, I shall be finishing it maybe not tomorrow, but the day after that, so I shall just leave this as a job, sort of half done, as it were, but that'll be fine. There is no rush. So, Unknown Westminster Abbey. Now this does look as if possibly it's already had a bit of amateur repair work done historically on this particular book. 1948 first. Yeah, that to me looks as if, oh no, maybe not. It's just a bit yucky. So let's try and slide some glue in there. There we are. I'm going to be quite generous on that bit. We have had some loss, sadly. Yeah, so some loss on the top of the, on the edge of the spine there, on the back cover. Not an expensive one, this particular one, so we'll see. Some of these may end up not being worth putting into like regular stock because they're just so cheap. They're not really worth holding. And actually, as I said, I just do a very small job lot and stick them on eBay, you know. Right, British Reptiles and Amphibia. Number 47, a slightly more scarce one. (1949). Yeah, Paxton Chadwick, the great illustrator that he was. This again, this generous squirt there really required. I'll slither along the edge of the spine there. So put that bit down first of all. A little bit over the edge there, sort of on the front of the cover. Getting excess off with my thumb. There we are. I think we've caught that okay. Needs a good brush, this particular one. But I think we've just about saved it. There is a little bit of spine detachment down the bottom here. Just that row there. So I'm going to lift that up and see if we can get that in there. They were a little notorious for coming to bits like this, these king penguins. But with some patience you can get them looking half decent, you know. They're never going to be perfect, but it's only a reflection of how good the books were that they've been bought and they've been read, and that means a lot, you know. I mean, it really does that. Anyway, we'll leave that there to dry for a bit while we move on to the next one, which is edible fungi. John Ramsbottom. Now this one's missing the bottom of the spine, so it is here on borrowed time because, yeah, and it's quite foxed. It feels loose. Yeah, it feels very, very loose. In fact, it is too far gone, that one. So that one sadly cannot be saved. So it's going to go in the rejects pile. Next is this, which is one of my favourites, a book of toys. Absolutely love this particular book, and you'll see why. It is gorgeous, as you can see. Done like a child's book, but it's actually a history of youngsters' toys. Very, very beautiful indeed. 1946. Quite lovely. Yeah, that's fine. Just going to need a bit of a brush. Once again, it's got a little bit of that white mottling on the spine, and I suspect that's probably down to where it's been stored, but that's pure conjecture. Here's another copy of Elizabethan Miniatures. This one is not bound. However, there's a tiny bit out of the first page there. 1943. And this one is a first. Got a 7 and 6 on the inside back cover. I suspect that was done at the time of publication, maybe, by a bookseller. Impossible to know now, of course. Alright, now it looks like there is a tiny bit of spine damage on this one. It's not massive. Okay. This one that requires double plying. There we are. So that one's okay. That's lived to see another day, which is good. I'd much rather save them than dispose of them. Now this one is obviously rough. It's a shame because it's a good title, but it's got no spine at all. It's completely spineless. But it is one of those collectible ones. You can see why. Look at this, absolutely exquisite. Exquisite. But sadly damaged, so it can't be saved. This is one of my favourites as well, Spiders, number 35. Another cracker. William John Ward, unfortunately, suffering a little bit of damage. But it is a first, and I think it's worth saving. It's definitely worth saving, but a little bit grubby. And then this one, this is about the halfway point, by the way. This is covered in this, and it says A Book of Lilies by Fred Stoker. So this is got some vintage. So has it saved it? That's what we want to know. Is it under here very nice and bright? And the answer is no. It definitely isn't nice and bright. They've covered up a multitude of sins, sadly, because look at the state of it. Hammered. That's why it was put into a wrapper, not to keep it beautiful, which is what we would have hoped. It's actually rough as rats, I'm afraid. And once again, we're not going to be able to save that particular bad boy. So that is in the reject pile. Another absolute favourite of mine, the Bayeux Tapestry. I actually went and saw the Bayeux Tapestry last year in France. It was fantastic to see it in the flesh, absolutely amazing. There is talk of it coming to the UK. I don't think the French are very happy about it because they're worried about it getting damaged, and I can understand that point of view. And why do we need it in the UK? It's literally just over into France. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Just, if you really want to see it, go over and see it. I'm not sure where it's supposed to be on display in the UK if it is to come over here, but I just, personally, I don't understand why we need it at all. It's something that should be in France and remain in France. Now, I'm really pleased about this. Now, this is the revised edition. Now, I've got the first print of this, but I didn't have this revised one. So this is one I haven't got, and this will definitely be going into my own collection. Now, what is happening at the top there? Nothing really. It's just a little bit of wear which I can't do much about that, I'm afraid to say. So I'm just going to leave that as is. And I think that is going to be it for today. So I need to give these king penguins a brush. But as you can see, they are, well, they're blooming gorgeous, aren't they? They really, really are lovely books. And it's a great set to collect. And there's, as I said, only 77 of them. So there are some expensive ones. Magic books from Mexico and Life in an English Village. But a lot of them are very, very reasonably priced, £10 or less. So you can do very well with these. Certainly the VG ones, or the common books, are only a few pounds each, so you can get yourself a collection together without too much hardship. But there we are. So I shall call it a day there. We've not done bad. We've done about half of the books, and they're certainly looking better than they did when before I started, which is what I was aiming for. Brilliant. So I shall be back to carry on with these in a couple of days. Okay, so it's the next day, and I am fresh back from a trip to Dorset Bob's, book dealer Dorset Bob, and it was a fantastic visit, as it always is, to Bob's den of science fiction and fantasy, as well as a few other bits and pieces as well. And I met up with my friend Steve, the Outlaw Bookseller, here on YouTube, and also science fiction author, amongst other things, Ryan Hughes. So that was fantastic. So it was really interesting to see those guys again after a while, and I've been able to pick up a few books. That's nice. Got a few. It's a little bit aged and tanned, but generally okay, that one. I was able to pick up a few books, as always, which was good news. Right, this one's in a wrapper. This is Early British Railways. So I think at the end of yesterday, I'd done about half the books. That's quite nice. I'd done about half of them, so I'm hoping, got £5 inside this one. I'm hoping that we can just go through to the end now, and then I've got this this particular section of the collection all done. My own collection of king penguins is upstairs in the office, where my wife works. I work now and again, as I drop the rubber, I work now and again in the office, but basically that's where she works. And I've got my king penguins on an actual penguin bookcase. It's they released one in the 1950s. Well, the company that released it is called Beaver and Tapley, and it was very much aimed at storing paperbacks predominantly, and they were pushing, and they marketed it as a penguin bookcase, so one to store your penguin books on. So and they fit perfectly. You know what I should have done with this one? I should have given it a brush before I put the wrapper back on. Yeah, one shelf of the Beaver and Tapley bookcase fits the entire set of king penguins, plus a couple of like odd spin-offs here and there. The early books, some of them came in hardback and softback, and I've sort of got variations of some of them. So that was very cool. Yeah, that's lovely. Any of the ones in wrappers are quite nice to have, you know. Birds of the Sea. This is King Penguin 24, is it? The number is a little worn on this copy. Yeah, 1945. This is all right, but it's just a little bit worn. There's no other markings on it, and nothing for a stretcher press. It's actually got a bit of water damage there on the bottom there. That's why it's gone there. It'll still be worth something to somebody, even though it's not tip-top shape. Right, Semi-Precious Stones. This is another one in a wrapper. £1. £1 of your earth money. So yes, it's been a long day, but in actual, and the drive was not great because the weather's not been too good. Yeah, the weather's not been great today. So the drive up and the drive down was interspersed with some pretty bad weather. However, I find even filming these videos quite relaxing. It's a nice way to unwind at the end of the day, and I feel I've got so much to do that rather than just come home and have a coffee and put my feet up, no, I'm going to crack on and just do, even if it's only this last little batch of books, which might take half an hour or so, at least it's another batch done, and then I can of course have the fun bit then, which is comparing them against my own copies to see if I've got the best example. I've not had anybody ask me if I've got any spare King Penguins, because generally speaking, even the rarest books are available. But at the same time, it's nice to have them in stock, as it were, if I do have them. And there we are. We've just sort of sorted that out. These don't really lend themselves very well to being bagged up. Obviously, they can be bagged. I can put them into paperback or digest size bags. However, I think these are the sorts of books that people like to have a flick through so they get an idea of just how nice the copy is. This is pretty nice because this is one that came out slightly later, number 55, Romney Marsh, John Piper. A little bit of wear at the top of the spine there. Absolutely exquisite book, absolutely gorgeous. Very nice indeed. Dedicated to Karen and Osbert Lancaster. Osbert Lancaster especially did loads of work for Penguin. As did John Piper, in actual fact. Yeah, I'm going to put, I haven't used the glue yet today, I'm going to put a dab just on the top there to see if we can just have that back. That should be enough. Yeah, there we are. That's fine. Now, this one was in a wrapper, so we give it a brush as well, as that definitely makes all the difference. Yeah, quite a bit of dust coming off that one. Very nice, all the same. Right, a very tail end one here, number 70. The Diverting History of John Gilpin, and illustrated by Ronald Searle, who, of course, you'll be familiar with that name. Now, sadly, I see already that this one has a rather awful name inside, which is a shame, because it's not very neat. If it was neat, that would make a difference, but it's not, sadly. Quite unruly, untidy writing. But apart from that, he's okay. It's a shame, because as I said, the later ones are scarcer. I suspect they had lower print runs, and it wasn't long after this that the whole series was cancelled, which was a real shame. I wonder what could have come if the series had carried on, eh? What they might have come up with. Anyway, it has still got the wrapper, which is something. It's not the best, it's a bit foxed and that, but there's nothing we can do about that spotting and stuff. That is just how it's going to have to be. Right, Popular English Art. This is number 21. Really bright and vibrant colours in this particular one, as you can see. Popular art in Britain, yeah, Noel Carrington. Yeah, that's fine, that can be brushed in a minute. 17, another reasonably early one. It's a bit of a darkened spine on that one. The leaves are subtle. Yeah, 1945, very nice. 50p, someone paid for this. Probably Bill, the last owner. Yeah, that's okay, just needs a brush. Now we've got another copy of A Book of Scripts, number 48, also in a wrapper again. The wrapper does appear, well, it's got that piece missing, sadly. A little piece missing out there, which is a bit of a shame. The last one wasn't perfect either, so there we are, two copies of the same book, neither of which are the business, but underneath we could be in business. It says to Wilbur from something or other. Can't quite read the names. There we are. As I said, there was the this one came out as a king penguin, and also as a pelican, a B. I think it's a B format pelican, the Book of Scripts, as well. So this one almost has a companion, and I do actually have a spare of the pelican. So it might be quite fun to put those two together, rather, and sell them as the team, as it were. But yeah, this one's got the slightly worn dust wrapper and a bit chipped and a little bit missing, but there you go. Right, this next one looks pretty rough because it's got half the spine missing and the other half is fallen off. So not particularly great, this particular one. Sadly, that's not going to make the cut, I'm afraid. It's an early one, but British shells, I'm sorry, that has to go to one side. This next one here is a bind your own. So back in the day, like the 50s and 60s, you could buy a kit that was called Bind Your Own, and you could take books and bind your own ones. And this isn't even a King Penguin, it's just in with the King Penguins, look. So this was a Bind Your Own of Penguin Books Brothers-in-Law by Henry Cecil. So that, I'm afraid to say, is not worth 2 darn cents to anybody. This one, however, looks rather lovely from a distance. Look at this, a Prospect of Wales with a really nice spine on it, number 43. A bit mottled inside, as are so many of these. It's just, you know, partly the way that the books were made and partly how they've been stored over the years. These ones, let's not forget, did come from a barn ultimately. So at one point the barn flooded, and although the books weren't anywhere near the floor, they were sort of on a mezzanine level just above the floor. They were, for a while at least, in a damp environment, and that would have caused some water damage. Right, number 61. Now this would have come in a dust wrapper, although it's obviously not in one now. So it's missing the dust wrapper. But yeah, the most valuable, and this is a reprint as well, the most valuable and key books from the King Penguin series are not in this collection. They are not here. A Book of Ducks, number 58. Oh dear. Now this is in a wrapper, but once again, look at all this. From Margaret Edwards to Alison, no, Belinda Scott in Weybridge. Then there's some stamps on it as well. So quite sadly, quite worn. But it is a first, yeah, 1951. So, I mean, it's a shame, because apart from that, you know, it's not an awful copy. The dust wrapper's there, but it's not great. Pop a bit of glue in there. I mean, I don't know if it's a particularly valuable one. Apart from the real rare ones, I don't really know the value of the king penguins off the top of my head. You often see sets for sale. Well, I say often, but you do see sets for sale for like about £600 or £700 for a full set of all 77. That to me seems high nowadays, particularly since the rise of the internet. Picking down odd volumes is not that difficult anymore, even the rare ones. I don't think you'd have a job finding the full set online from start to finish. You know, I don't think you'd struggle. Although I got to say, some of the ones, yeah, that dust wrapper I feel is too far gone. Some of the books certainly did take a bit of tracking down for me in their original wrappers. Right, heraldry in England. So this is number 22. Once again, a bit of spotting in that, but nothing too bad. This one survives the cut. Just give that a nice brush in a minute. Now this one is the same book, but half the spine, in fact the entire spine, has come away. And I suspect that this may be a reprint. Yeah, 1949 it was. So that one I'm going to pop in the reject pile. It's not worth working on. Right, a copy of Garden Birds. Have we seen this one yet? Number 19. Richard with Love from Granny. Oh, Granny. Yeah, so somewhere on the bottom of the spine, but someone has already sort of repaired that. So we're going to have to leave that as is, which is fine. Edward Gordon Craig, number 40. Christmas 48 from John and Betty. Yeah, that's pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah, that's a really nice copy of that one. Right, Fishes of Britain's Rivers and Lakes, and you can see the spine is damaged at the top and the bottom. It's got the name inside, and it's hanging on by a thread, I'm afraid to say. He's too far gone. Right, Woodland Birds, number 74. In fact, I think this was the highest number that we've got. So we'll take off the wrapper, which, you know, isn't too bad. It's got a couple of folds in it, a few chips and a little bit missing, but As we said before, that's sort of par for the course. What's it like underneath? That looks pretty nice to me. A gorgeous one that is, isn't it? That is very, very nice. Indeed. That's lovely. Yeah, that was a very nice book in a wrapper, so that's pretty good. Right, Compliments of the Season, number 38. History of greeting cards, Christmas cards, I should say. Now this one's got some writing on the inside, so we'll borrow this one and get the this old pricing out. Okay. Yep, that's all right. I'll give them a brush in a minute. So, English book illustration, number 31. We saw a copy of this earlier on today, or earlier on in this video. For me, it was yesterday. And the copy was missing. It had a damaged spine. So this is quite nice in that this one looks okay. £5 on this one, which is loads, isn't it? The collection that I've been going through, none of them have got, you know, big prices inside, so that's unusual. This is a particularly nice one, number 73, in a wrapper. Let's hope it holds up inside. £2.25 inside. Story of cricket. Yeah, pretty nice this. Yes, that's a nice copy of that one. Yeah. Yeah, good. Pleased with that one. Okay, just 3 to go. Right, the Microcosm of London, and this looks to have a replacement spine on it. Yeah, it's fine, but it's got a replacement spine, so it's not original. I'm afraid it's had like a basic rebind, so that one will be in the spares. There is, however, another copy of it, the Microcosm of London. That's what it should be like. That's a bit more complete. 1947. Oh, and that's a reprint. Look at that. First published 43. That's a revised one from 47. So that's okay. That might be a variant. I haven't got many reprints in my collection, and I will pick up the King Penguins that have been reprinted. Now that I've got the set, revised editions and reprints are of interest to me. So there we are. That's just about holding itself together. And believe it or not, there's another one. That's the very last copy. Another copy, once again quite worn on the spines. Look at the message. To dear Francis, with love from Sylvia. 15th of February 1952. Also the revised edition from 1947. So we'll take out the little £1 inside, and now looks like a tiny bit of gluing is required here. Just pop this back in there. Now the glue has decided to dry up on me, because that's how we roll here. Go on, there we are. That's enough for in there. A smidgen in there. And the last bit along the top edge here. There we are. So that is that one looking as good as we can get it. So that's cool. So that was the last book. Now we need to do some brushing down, and then I think we'll have a little look through of the entire collection and see just what it's looking like. So we've just got this pile here, and I'll do them 4 at a time. Quite dusty. But it's, as I said, it's been raining, so I can't really do these outside today. It is awful. Right, last little lot, and then we'll have a bit of a recap of what we've done. Because I think we've done pretty good there. As we have one last look through, I think they've come up really nicely. So it's not every day I get to clean king penguins on the channel, so I think it's worth another look. Yeah, so they are. If you have enjoyed today's video, made a change to main series penguins, didn't it? They'll be back next week. I'm going to try and do like a main series penguin video of some sort, or crime specific one, and then I'll mix it in with one of the other series, just like we've done the last few weeks. That's going to be the way to do it. Plus, of course, I will have other books coming my way. I've got a nice wedge of Folio Society books to clean up in the dedicated video coming soon. There's a little bit of a run-in repair there. Need to pop a bit of glue in there. If you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button. Maybe tell a friend. Say, look, there's this great book repair channel, and it's very, very relaxing. You must dial in. That's what you need to say to your friends. And get them to subscribe to the channel as well. If you've enjoyed today's video in particular, obviously give it the thumbs up. If you've watched it all the way to the end, then thank you very much. Worth it just for the recap of these beautiful, beautiful books. I'm going to have to move them over and make a third pile down here because we've sort of run out of room. Aren't they gorgeous? They really are. I can't wait to get these up into my my collection room and compare against my own copies. And then I have to try and come up with some prices on these for the spare ones. But yeah, thank you very much for watching today. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye.